Hello, everyone. Ed, can you hear me okay? Have you unmuted?
There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah.
No worries. Welcome. How are you?
I'm just off the last couple days, so I haven't been at Prairie City building a shower in the house. So yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Ready to get out there and enjoy it, hopefully, right? At some point.
I enjoy it 7 days a week, whether it's for Hangtown or for my work, but that's my retirement job. So
nice. Okay,
so
great.
yeah, no, it's all fun. And I really enjoyed listening and hearing the feedback and that stuff.
Okay. Great. Well, welcome. My name is Paul. I'm from Ascent. We're part of the consultant group here. I've also got Jason from California State Parks with me.
Hello.
And I think we have Ed, you yourself, Eric, I believe you're here as well. And then we've got Carly. And then I think it'll just be Jason and I, since we've kind of got a small group. And
Sammy's also from State Parks listening in.
Great.
Welcome,
Sammy.
And Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor is there in person, right?
Yeah. Taylor, although she's logged in, she's actually
she's
floating around the in-person event.
Yeah, she's helping out there. So
yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We tried to kind of mimic what is happening in the in-person workshop there. I'm sure a few maybe have seen some of the maps that were around the room. And what we're going to go ahead and do is take some kind of comments down on these maps and get your input, and just generally have a kind of conversation about what you'd like to see, some of the maybe thoughts, insights on what was discussed in the room as you were listening. And we're just going to kind of open the dialogue, and I'll be taking notes. Jason is here for any clarification questions that may come up. And then we'll just kind of open the floor to you all. I'll share my screen, has got the map. And then what we'll do is, let's see here. Be able to put some sticky notes. So just speak as clearly as you can. That'd be great. And then we'll be able to get all your comments down. So. And I have the ability to zoom in, zoom out. So as you guys kind of take a look, this is generally what we're looking at here is just the overall opportunities and constraints map, what we're showing and kind of what Adam went through in the meeting this afternoon, some key opportunity places. And I guess maybe I'll open up to you, Ed. What areas do you maybe mostly use when you're out here at the park?
I'm kind of involved in almost all of them, but love seeing it all on a map like this, especially the Yost property, the opportunities there, the vernal pool area, and I like the idea of building, bike paths there, in that, and maybe we have buffer at gate 5, that buffer there, or even I don't know how we get to it, but that extra Barton area that was saved for so we can mitigate any water going off the soil. Our idea was maybe put a couple more sediment ponds there, which don't take up much area, but it helps the soil and stuff settle before it leaves the property. You'll see ponds all over. They do on a rotational basis get dug out, and then it fills back in the summer, and that soil gets distributed to the tracks, to the trails, everything else. So yeah, I would like to see because if we create these are buffers, that is a buffer, everything, but if we have that open for a trail where there's mountain bikes with electric or whatever, and even a separate thing, it creates one more thing to help keep the park here. One thing we have is the NORCOM, which is communications for all Northern California state parks, is on Prairie City. You'll see the big tower behind the moonroof. I mean, those kind of things help lock in the Prairie Cities here. We were able to buy the Inez property off to if you look off there, that property, it's pretty much open and it goes clear to the gravel plant. That could be really wide open trails because it's pretty flat and level where there was concerns, and there is concerns. I don't know how, but the ROV got, like you said, it was just a 20-mile-an-hour Kubota for a while, and then all of a sudden they're high-speed things. Anyway, that would be an area that could be open to, you know, all things, because you can see where people are coming. That's our problem. When they're in zone 1, the problem is whatever speed they're coming over a hill, taking up the whole thing and not knowing what's the other side. Maybe an idea for zone 1 is a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit. I'm sorry, just control what you're doing, or within 1,000 feet. If you can't see where you're driving, it drops you down to 10 miles an hour. This is another thing. Come on, guys. Do you want to speed back up where you can see? Okay, fine. There you go. Well, I could go on forever, because I've been doing this since, well, I raced the first Lilliputian in '71 when they opened the Gills. It was a cross-country race. But the one thing that we need to do is, there are trails that are all established, and I know they're all things. We need to make sure every trail stays, and create even more ideas, because the more opportunities, the less travel each bike has, or a quad or whatever, the less impact. There's more time for naturally to resume, to grow the grass, for the soil to settle down, all that. And it also gives, if you're driving and someone's coming at a speed and you got your kid, you can turn and go another trail. So it doesn't hurt to have more trails. If you limit them, then it gets twice as much, 4 times as much wear. And I mean, we worked really hard trying. We just rebuilt the Oak Tree. It's in zone 3, the Oak Tree Hill. We just redid the trails that are there, and managed those. And the good thing is, it's a place where a motorcycle can go, and you're by yourself. You're not running by UTV or anything. There is some ideas, and it's still for zone 2 in the back, is to build some more trails like that. But when they build them, just keep this in mind. Make sure that there's the ones that are trails that are there, you can narrow them up or whatever, make it so it's only thing, but don't take any of them away. We need every single loop, everything that's out there, and that will make it, that gives it more opportunities when there's more people there. I just really enjoy what I'm doing. I wanted to come say, I really like to say this. I just like more opportunities out there. Just, yeah, it's great. It's showing in the Yoast property. We've got all kinds of different ideas that can happen there. Let's start looking at see what besides the pit, which the UTV one, that should just happen. There's a natural, or not a natural, but the pit was dug to get the rocks, the gold, everything out. And down the bottom in the wintertime, there's a lake basically, or a pond that creates in the bottom. I think that should be made even deeper, and then that soil moved to the other side, so that you have a 12-month usage of that track that they're going to build. In other words, that the water doesn't build up and flow, get higher, because the only way the water leaves there is just to soak into the soil and goes into the groundwater, the water that ends up in the bottom of that pond. It does in the late summer, it does completely get down to almost nothing, but just an idea. And then the building that UTV track, that needs to just stay right on track. I'm all for that. So looking at the Yoast, that's going to be a little bit harder because of the trees and stuff. But again, a trail system that could go in, anytime you add any more trails, that is great. I love all of this.
Okay.
I really love your map. So I'm gonna leave it right there. If you got anything else, I'll keep back. I want to listen. And
yeah, no, that's all great. Thanks for the wonderful input. Jason, anything you want to add, or
yeah, just throw it out there to you, Ed, but also anybody else out there about camping. You could see that there's a couple of proposals in zone 1 at the main staging area, and then zone 4 for possible overnight facilities. Any thoughts on that?
No, that's probably a really good one because like you said, people are coming. I mean, when it's a special event, a lot of times there is camping, it's set up, but just to be able to come for the weekend or whatever and spend it because you live in the Bay Area or whatever, and you can spend 2 days, just like anywhere else. I don't, hopefully you don't, you may find out you build a campsite and it's on the thing. People are like, hey, that's close to First. I'll just come camp. You may get other people, I'm sorry, you might get other people that, want to just have a campsite because they want to be close to Folsom Lake, which wouldn't be a bad thing. But yeah, we have lots of property there. I like your two ideas. Either one of those, it just manages to take staff and have it built in. That's the hard part. Other than that, it should work. That would work out really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And it sounded like, and once again, anybody can chime in, but it sounded like there, at least Ed, you had some support for non-motorized recreational opportunities in those areas that are kind of prohibited through the general plan, the vernal pool areas and the Barton.
There are buffers. That is our buffers. That's part of it. We're lucky that it's well, it was Aerojet or Rocketdyne, but it's got built again. But that is never going away because of the water and the things and everything else. They're going to have to monitor it forever. So we have a buffer there. We have we have a buffer behind the Barton, and then also the gravel people own across Scott Road. There's a big area out past everything on Gate 5 to the east. There's a big area there that they want to continue to do the cobble things. So another good thing is that the city of Folsom is putting their courtyard will be almost right on where the new Prairie City Gate and Bright Rock Road and go clear over to the old Scott Road entrance. That whole thing will be, they're taking it off the river. That's going to be the courtyard for Folsom. So that's a state thing or a city thing, and that's going to be another buffer for what we're doing. So yeah, keeping the buffers in but using them. I'd like to see. I like that idea. I like that you ride a mountain bike and you like to go ride the trails. The mountain bikes have supported Prairie City for 20 years. There's been mountain bike races on, and they do it on our maintenance day at the end of the day where it doesn't hurt. Wednesday is a maintenance day for Prairie City, and that way projects and they're not out. We can build fences and fix things and not have any problems for anybody. That's worked out perfect. But they've also let mountain bike races, and the community really supports it. But if the whole vernal thing had a trail system that was around all the vernal things, the impact of them is pretty much nothing. As a matter of fact, it looks like you got a paved bike track they're talking about going along the white thing. So there could be access to that. That all of that helps. I think any of the it's not taking anything away from us because that's our buffer. Yeah, explore all of those. I like your ideas. It just brings the whole community in. So.
Great. And anybody have any thoughts on the tracks? There was, I don't know, in the in-person conversations, you probably heard some thoughts about improving the MX track and other things. Any thoughts on tracks?
I like the tracks are good. Again, we want to get the UTV one. The Prairie City motocross track, the practice track. I like they like to see it water more of this and that. I mean, let's tell you, we've been through a bunch of things. We've had a water truck blow up. We've had a complete dozer blow up. We've had, I can go on for the John Deere, and we've rented stuff and they've lost operators. Don is on it. He knows exactly how to make that. If you look at the roads around Prairie City, just the main ones where you drive and stuff, the way he maintains them, it's like it's smoother than going down the paved road or Hungry Valley, whatever. They really do a lot of work there. Another thing they do is that they do for Hangtown. We're trying to get more. It's called dust off. It's just tree sap. It's natural with salt and stuff. And you just notice when nobody's watered, but it's still dark and thing. That's the roads that have been put the tree sap, put the dust, it's called dust off. And there's way more, if we could expand our budget for that and make it an actual thing. So not just one time a year we get to do these things and then it goes away. The dust problem could be cut in half. We're probably spending twice that on diesel and water trucks, just trying, especially in the summer, to keep things wet, to go, they run out and they do the Vora track, they put water on everything else. But you know, this clay, and it's a hard summer, it's going to get dry really quick. You may think they had watered the track. If you came 3 hours later, it was water. It's just the problem. So there's some of the mini tracks could be dust off. I mean, they don't have to be dug up and all this things that they like just to be, they're all practicing and trying to be new kids and learning how to ride. They just need a smooth, fun, turny track. Those could be dust off. Boom, that would take all away the billions of water going back and forth. So those are other ideas. That I understand people like to see it perfect. And again, it's $5. And I'd love to see them. Those guys really like to do it. Go try the PCMX track, the Hangtown track. They put a ton of time and they have a huge things too. And that would be great to have those guys that were saying, oh, I'd like to see better. Go use it, guy. It's not impossible. I actually took 2 laps around it right before Hangtown. So, and on myself, and so it's capable of any bit. I'm 69, so unfortunately it's still at my YZ 250. That's 2019, and it's a 2-stroke. So it's fun.
Great.
Yeah. And so I hate to keep going, but I could do this forever. I've been involved in this whole park and love it. Yeah.
I know there were some concerns raised over ROVs and safety, and that seems undoubtedly an issue. And I think we're aware of that, and the plan's going to definitely be looking at that issue. Another thing that was identified was crossings of the main road. You could see the red doubled arrows.
The new, trying to create this.
Yes. Yeah. So other than those 2 safety issues,
I see those there. Yeah. Now I see. Yeah. How are we going to mitigate this when we allow you to go from zone 1 to the next?
Yes. Right.
Or how are we going to get to the Yoast if we create that as a 2-cycle, some of that trail? How maybe even now the mini track, maybe let's look at that. Could that be a 4-way stop? It maybe, could be passed up on official events, but maybe that's a way to make sure the kids driving out of the mini tracks don't have a problem, that kind of stuff.
Are you, other than the ROV issue and the kind of the crossing of the main road, are you aware of any other safety issues that this plan should kind of look at addressing?
No, I mean, the ROV is the big one. Like I kind of understand. I didn't at first understand how it automatically, like, they can't drive out there. They're supposed to be in the 4-wheel drive, but it was okay because it was a 20-mile-an-hour 4-wheel, steering drive thing, just kind of like thing. But they used to direct them to zone 4 or 1 and the driving thing. And when that kind of got married, that's when the problem happened. And the problem is when they can't see, because you don't really have a speed limit anywhere. But in zone 1, you cannot see going over hills. There's a lot of things, and at speed, it's just 2 motorcycles. It's kind of the same thing. When you have a ROV going like that flag has nothing to do with it. So maybe until we change where these people go, maybe we put a speed limit in zone 1, and make it 10 miles an hour, or we make a thing that's 10 miles an hour when you can't see over. If you can't see over past 1,000 feet in front of you, whether it's a turn or going over a hill, you have to follow that. It's like a speed thing, and explain why it's there. It's because we're doing a safety thing for everybody, whether you're on your kid's on a PW50 on 2 wheels or a little quad, or you're driving the big giant thing, and safety of, there's 2 of those, the safety is against them too, because 2 of those come in the same thing over the same hill at too much speed. You know, it's different. Like they were talking to other places. Okay, let's have a you know, a direction, like if it's a track, so that you can only go one way. That work, that's +1. They've had problems with that at Hollister, because it makes it hard for people to get from one place to another. They get stuck in one, and they've gone this way, or their bike breaks and can't come back down, and it's confusing. So the main thing might just be a rule that says, hey, you know what? If you can't see within 100 yards, your trail, whether it's over and right in there, over a hill or around a corner or around a tree, your speed limit is 10 miles an hour. And then when you can see again, then you can go up to whatever's a safe speed. Just call it that. You know, then we can't put speed monitors everywhere and all that, but just something to try, and that would help. I mean, because like I said, we didn't create it, but now we have these things that go run the Baja 500. They're 4-seaters or 6-seaters and giant suspension and 1,500 cc's, and yeah, you know, it's just a speed thing. And like the one guy says, oh yeah, my granddaughters ride their bikes, but they take them out into what we call below the practice track. In zone 3, we call the AB parking, because they hanged out, but the nice flat open area, just because then they can see who's coming which way or what other thing. So we'll work on it. I think having our trails opened up, it'll help a lot. I love this layout. I haven't seen this one, and I love the zones, and it's got everything that we've talked about. Can I ask one more question? In zone 3, Coyote Gulch, there was a chart that, you know, to try and expand that into 2 motorcycle 2-wheel trails. It would still have, you know, ROVs and whatever. Quads could still drive around the outer edge, you know, the roads. We see Coyote Gulch, but there was a start of a plan to build all those trails into a single track, and you go in and out. My only thing I want to say about that, I appreciate you letting me give my impact, because then they further, but I also work now as a maintenance 1 worker, so I have to kind of, they call it conflict of interest. I can't do anything at Hangtown that's of interest, but I'm just excited. But this is a really cool idea. But when we did the Oak Tree Hill, they had to finish it. Oh no, I go, the only thing wrong with the 3 trails there is it'd be real easy and not very much to make 2 or 3 extra little connectors that if you were on one trail, you would go a long ways, and you could change to the 2nd trail, and you could go where and go to the 3rd trail. And why would you do that? Well, if there's 15 bikes coming this way and you've got your kid, it'd be nice to just be able to turn. And plus it would take, without making more trails or, you know, slopes or tearing it up, because that's why we had to do that. The hills were corroding and coming down and all that. We need to make, when we do the Coyote Gulch, make sure all of the trails and all their connectors are there. That would be the best thing. I love the Coyote Gulch idea. That's yeah. And I think that would help the people that are having problems, you know, where they can't see and they're scared of the UTVs. That would be a great thing.
Great.
Yeah, great.
I also wanted to give some space for either Eric or Carly if they're online here and want to provide any input.
Yeah, sure.
I can. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Eric.
No, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I am Eric Elliger. I'm the stewardship director for the Sacramento Valley Conservancy. So we actually hold the conservation easement for the Vernal Pool Preserve. It's just to the east of Scott Road there. So we kind of attended this meeting to sort of gauge the temperature and, you know, see what everyone was thinking in terms of, you know, the new development to the OHV park. And I guess I would just want to echo some of the things that Ed had said. And we're definitely pro the buffer for the Vernal Pool Preserve, and definitely encouraged by the fact that I don't know, it seems like the community is also on board with doing non-motorized vehicle trails, because we do have some plans to connect our hiking trails down in Deer Creek Hills Preserve to the American River Parkway, and that hiking trail would take it pretty darn close to the Prairie City OHV Park, and there could be some opportunities to kind of, you know, connect the trail networking through the OHV Park as well. So it's good to.
Sorry, what was the preserve name again?
Deer Creek Hills
Deer
Preserve.
Creek.
Okay. Yeah,
So yeah, I guess that just want to sort of echo those ideas are great. I don't have a lot of input in terms of, you know, the more specifics on the motor vehicle side, but yeah, just wanted to pay attention and kind of gauge the temperature and see what new developments and what things were planned in the area in which, you know, kind of the Conservancy has a vested interest. So.
Great.
Thank you. Carly,
Yeah, I also work for Sac Valley Conservancy, and I'm the part-time employee that actually is out at Deer Creek Hills for hiking and mountain biking on the days that we have public access. So I agree with Eric. I would like to see some connection to the preserve. I'm not sure. I don't know how that would work, if it would need to go through the park or what days that might be available. I can speak as a mountain biker who has ridden out at Prairie City for many of the races. I've done a couple of those over the years, and it's beautiful. It's a wonderful place to ride your mountain bike. It would be so cool to be able to camp there. That's really awesome. I'm curious about the camping amenities that you would have. It would just be tent camping, I'm assuming, that you'd allow.
sorry, that's a good question, Carly. I think what they're, you know, the focus, since it is a an OHV park, would be more like you know, RV type camping, or
Yeah.
I'm not an OHV person myself, but I know they've got the trailers that they keep their bikes in, that once you pull your bikes out, they can then, you know, camp inside them. I think was the primary focus, was more of a vehicle camping location.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
at this point we're open, so now's
Yeah.
the time to, you know, give us ideas if you have them.
yeah, well, and usually state parks, I mean, it would be, I mean, it'd be a special spot, like, you know, each one, and whether you have a 20-foot toy hauler or whether you want to put your tent up and whatever, it's a camping spot. And I think it's not limited. The only thing that's limited when you go to other state parks is some of them have hookups for power, or some of them might have a water access, or which we won't have, or bathrooms, toilet cleaning things or whatever hookups. But other than that, that's the only difference at state parks. Most of them are, you're paying for however many feet the spot is. So it would be pretty simple, you know. So it wouldn't chase anybody away.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
Ed.
I think that if it were, it would probably take up more room in order to allow for campers and large trailers to be able to camp at a site, versus if it were strictly just tent camping.
Oh,
So yeah, that's cool with me. I think that would be great. It would be pretty neat for all the bike packer people out there, if they could, you know, start on the American River Trail and cruise through and stop overnight and camp at Prairie City. That would be a pretty cool trip. So I'm for it. I like it. It's good.
And thanks, Ed. Toy hauler was the term I was looking for that. Appreciate you chiming in there. Well, any other last comments from Carly, Eric, Ed? Otherwise, we definitely appreciate you guys participating, and appreciate your comments. I think
can I ask Carly a
Sure.
question? Yeah, or actually it was Sammy. What it was is, I didn't realize that there were mountain bike trails at the other, I can't remember where those guys were.
Oh, Deer Creek Hills?
Yeah, the Deer Creek Hills had mountain bike trails or
Yeah.
hiking trails that you could, on certain days, now do you have to be escorted, or is there a place, is it like a park where you could drive up and just go ride your mountain bike, come back? Is that open?
It's not. No, it's not. In the future, down
Okay.
the road, it would be, it's part of our 21st century vision to be able to
Okay.
connect it and have it open and as amenity. But right now, it's only open on select days. So for mountain biking, it's only open on Monday evenings from 4:30 to 8. And it's not guided. It's a self-guided.
Okay, yes, so it's
time.
it's just that day, and you guys are there to be able
Yeah.
to open the gates and let people try it. Okay.
Right. Yep.
A lot of people don't know about that, so I just wondered, some kind of a flyer or a little bulletin or something, or a little thing, or a ad, not even ad, just if you had some kind of a poster that could be put up around the park. Maybe, not every people that ride motorcycles also ride bicycles, or they like to go for hikes, and a lot of people like to come out to our vernal pool walks, so that could be transferred to have them and get that area. I'm loving that you're getting that area used. That's really neat.
Yeah, we'd love to put up a flyer. That's great. That's a great idea. We can do that.
Yeah,
Thank you for the encouragement. I
yeah,
appreciate
see,
it. I'll bring
Jolene
one.
is our interpreter. Her
Yeah.
name's Jolene also. Yeah, and Jolene, she can make sure that information gets out. That's really a good idea.
Oh, thanks, Ed. I can do
Yeah.
that.
All right, well, unless you guys have anything else, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. And once again, really appreciate your time and your participation and your ideas. And hope you'll continue to follow the process. Always just type in Prairie City Road and Trail Management Plan into your web browser, and you're going to bring up the website, and all the information's there. And if you have any questions, you can email us. There's an email there. So
Right. Thank you
Thanks
for
again.
guys, all your work. I thank you for all your work you guys are doing. I appreciate it.
yeah, you're welcome.
And
Thank you very much. Yeah.
quick
Right.
plug too, if you haven't
Thanks so
taken the
much.
survey, the survey's on the website as well too. So
Yeah, take the survey.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
thanks all.
Thanks.
Have a great evening.
Bye.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Hey, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.